Hello guys, welcome to the third tutorial of the U245 final exams. Today we'll be going through the sub and functions, which is the fundamental elements of VBA, and this is how all these things got work. And we will get started. So in the past two lectures, we already know what kind of data types within the VBA, what kind of programming structure here, and in here, in this lecture, we'll discuss the basic function, how to use them, how to combine them together, and what's the differences about them. So we should begin. Oh, sorry, option. Okay. So what's the differences between function and sub? To answer these questions, I will write a little procedure to let you see what the differences of them. So I will write a sub, okay, and I will write a function. So this, yeah, this has a value. It has n sub here, n function here, of course. But I can actually do this. What do you mean, like, I have function as a variant? This is kind of confusing, but here's the key differences of these two. So a function is actually, it has a value that you can consider as a special type of variables. That is, when under a series of calculation within this procedure, you will return as a value. And the type of this value is named right here. You will recall this. This really looks like something like this, right? It's really like this. Okay. So you just define this function, and it has a return value. The type of return value here is variant. It can be anything. It can be the class module that we did before, like the book. It can be a variant. It can be anything. It can be integer. So let's say it's an integer. Okay. So let's say if func goes to 5. Okay. Now it has a value and it's done. And in this here, in this sub, we can't write sub as what? No, because sub, it didn't give you any return value. It just, when you run a sub or you call a sub, you just do the procedure that you write here, but no further meanings. So it won't return you a value. Let's see. So let's test it. In sub main, this is habit. So we'll test everything here. This is some examples of functions and sub. So in here, let's say I want to print a func. So what does it give me? 5. Okay. So what happens here is, in this sub, when we run this sub main, it automatically runs this sentence, and it goes right here. It calls the functions. You say functions has no input value, but it has a output value as 5. So if we change something like this, it will be 6, right? It will be 6. So let's choose message box. Okay. It will be 6. Also, well, no matter how you the sub and function, they can all have values. It can be anything. Let's say I have input as integer. So our input is identifier. So no, maybe just num. Okay. So I want it to be num plus 1. Okay. By doing this, it's saying I'm putting this value in here. And the value in this procedure will have a lot of operations. In this cases, it will be +1 and then return as value as a func into the functions. And in here, you can get a value. So uh, you have to say that the field of these variables, like we discussed in lecture 1, the global variables and local variables. So right here, this is only valid in this procedure, in this function. That in here you can use sum, you can use num, and also this is only used in these functions. So no matter how you are putting those numbers in, they will be all considered as num. You will see what I mean. So let's say I deem I as integer, I equals to 5. And right here, if we have this, we'll say num as integer of I. So the I is not, like, its name is not num, it's not number. But when we do something like this, it just passes the value of this variable as a value of this, and then it will automatically change and output the value is 6. Right? So this is pretty straightforward. Um, and you can this is just a quick example that function has uh, a return value. So it will actually, this is something that is value. Also, you can do this. I'll say a func 5. Right? So what does it give us? So I put +5 in here. It can be both variables or just numbers or just values. That's both fine. Put it here. So 5 plus 1 and then +1 again. So we'll give us 7. Okay. Okay. And yeah. So this is only by, so automatically you may hear something say by vol or by def. Oh, sorry. No. Sorry, by ref. That means by vol, we'll use by vol. It only passes the values to it. So it doesn't change anything. So it doesn't change the value of the old procedure. We'll check. So if I do by vol, I will say I is 5. And let's say, okay, this is 6. And you see I is still 5. That this number is not returned as the value here in this procedure. It's not returning local. It's still 5. But if I use by reference, let's check again. Wait. Yeah. So in here, it's like if you didn't say it, it will automatically think it is by ref. So it only gives the reference of these variables. And in these cases, if you go like this, let's try it. You see I6, but if I use by vol, the I is still 5. So when you use by ref and you redeem it, so if you use by reference, it will actually pass the address of the variables to this procedure, and anything you do that related to that address, so you directly use its value. So here you directly use the variable itself, so num here. It will change it accordingly in the original stuff. So we'll just say something like this. No matter why, I want to put it as 5. So it will message about 5 because I only set a return value as 5. But since I passes the by reference variables to it, the number of I should be 15. You see? So you pass a reference here, but if you use by val, it only has 5. So it's kind of like you copy a variables and passes to the procedure. But in most cases, you don't have to do this. Byref is good enough for a lot of cases. What matters in the functions, in the context of this final exams, is you know how to build a functions correctly. The only thing important is here is the thing that has return value is the function itself. So yeah, let's say if I do this, it's by ref. That's already, you see, although I didn't type it here, it's 15. Okay, so that's by val and by ref. Sorry. So next stages. So what is sub? As I say, sub is functions. It kind of like it don't have return value, but it does the same thing as functions. So right here, I won't. Also, it also passes the by ref numbers. So again, I will do something like this, and I pass a num here. Actually. Okay. Okay. So I should put it like this. So it has a num, it has any values, but I pass the this plus 10. Okay. And then I will say a sub, so I call it. You can just simply write this and tap I, but it's not clear, so I will suggest you to do this. Call sub I or sub I. It both works. So you have 15. You see, although you don't have values, since I directly pass the value to the sub and it's by ref, so it's actually by ref, but it's not printed out. Like it's so I have the reference of the variables to this sub, and it will do this procedure and will return to the main procedure, and now it has 15. So if I have by val here, it's still 5 since it's create a copy. So what does it mean? So functions is related to some kind of algorithms. You want to return a value, return an object for the further workflow that you can proceed with your whatever you want, your design. A sub is mainly for like process operation, if that sounds correct to you. So it has process operations. Is a lot of stuff within that, but I will personally want it to be say I will create a shape, right? So let's have draw something. So we have radius, so r, and let's have const pi s single equals 3.14. Okay. And I wanted to draw a circle in here. Okay. So I can just say work and just say so this workbook dot worksheets dot shapes workbook dot activate sheet shapes. So basically is what I have here, right? So basically is this. I'll just okay. Theme shape. And shape oval. I want to do 100 R, right? So I think I just do this, right? Okay, it has to be like that. Okay, sure. Okay, so I create a shape here. Let's try it. So in here, I just call it. I have a radius, it's a 50. We go draw a circle here. It won't return any value. It only has this procedure, right? So it only does what I wanted to do. So this is what I wanted to say. But if I use func, I will say based. Let's put this in as a global stuff. Okay. So what I want here is I want this function to calculate the radius of this circle. So this is actually, I will put an area. I want it to be double. Okay. So area, let's say, is to be 100. Okay. So in these functions, I will put an num or say area as double, and we return as a double since I won't return the radius, the diameter. Okay, I said return diameter, right? So return diameter. So I have the area. Since area is equals to 2 times pi times r squared, right? And r is half of the diameters. So I can say that it goes to 4, so pi times diameter times 2, something like this, right? So since this is 2d minus half, so that's 4. So right, so like this, and we can have diameter, so d equals to 2 times area divided by pi, and then this by 0.5, right? So yeah, so let's try it. So I'll just return, or I can have local variables called d, which is probably better since it's good for you to see to name everything so that you know what are you dealing with. Okay, using as double, and diameter goes to 2 times area minus divided by pi, and then like this, right? So I will a func, but this is really important. So I want it to be the return value. So this is really important. Okay. So let's try it. So I have an area. I can say I will say another like a diameter. Okay. And d equals to a func area, right? Let's message box B and then draw it. That's right. Oh, sorry. Here it has to be and double. It's not integer. Okay, so also it's mismatched. So you have to make it accordingly. So D is this, and this right here. Okay, you can make it bigger. That might be too big. Let's try it. Okay, it's not too big. Okay. So this is one way to do it. Also, since a function returns a value, it can be parameters for other functions or sub. So in these cases, I can do something like this. A func area, right? The only thing matters here is that this, the type of these variables, is same as you define here, and is by sequence. You see, you can't just skip it. Actually, you can skip it, but you have to set something first. Okay, let's try it. Okay. Okay, you can see it tries the same thing. Okay, I can make it even bigger. Oh, okay, that's too big. Okay, so yeah. And there's another thing. You can say this something is optional. Okay. Okay, I would say R, like actually should be D or Y, because it's diameter, not radius. Okay, so I can say D is optional. Optional D. So we didn't need it necessarily, and I will set a value for it. So now if I don't give anything, I don't have anything passed into it, it will say, okay, it's optional, and the user didn't give it any value. So I will use the def value, which is 50. Yeah, 50, right? So and also it can be different stuff. Okay, it can be different stuff. This is optional, and yeah, so sometimes it's really useful. Okay, so these are the basic use of the sub and functions. Now let's take a little look in a real cases, which is the Texas Hold'em, which we do in lab 8 last year. In your case, it's lab 7, I think. Okay, so this is what I got last year. I use a tons of procedure to do that. So um, so it would be something like this. Okay, everything is in sequence, and everything has a rank. It will say automatically who wins or wins a little sun. Okay, it has a little smiley faces to say, oh, you're good. Okay, so let's take a look how I set control. Okay, so basically is the in here is what you do. You create a deck, you add a deck. It's all public since it's fine. I would just suggest you everything to be public. You don't have to make it private. You don't Private is useful sometimes when you want to protect your code, but it's not necessary. Okay, this is pretty familiar. Okay, deal decks, yeah, and you see I have this. This is pretty much this functions. You will have a tons of other functions that is sorted in different functions. So I have card sort, deck generations, card generations, output to Excel, and set rank. One thing I want to say is you should try to name your functions in a logic that is reasonable for you and others. So basically, what I have here is main functions, and that would increase your readability. Okay, let's take it into look in some of the cases. So this little signature here means integer. It's just a simplified way to do that. Okay, this is different shapes. So card generations is already I have all the hands as collections given to it, and I have everything in here. So player faces is this little guy. It has the locations, and we have different for different cases. In here, you can actually use select case to do that, or you use else if, which select cases might be better for that. It's easy. You can try to change it, or you can stop and pause and think how to change it to select cases. Anyways, it has different, so hearts card, cloud card, diamond card, shape card here. And what can we find it? Is in color and format. So color and functions here. It's all set. This set by myself. I try to test all this little stuff right here. So this is like different stuff, but only thing you want here is like the distance of left, distance of top, and the number of this card. So that will make it really easy to generate it. You only have to know the position of this card, and you want to know what numbers you have right here. Okay, so we don't need to take into that so deeply. Okay, so next, this is second loop because it has n times m. Okay. Yeah. So basically, this is what I want to show you is you want to make every function has a specific method and specific usage. It has specific meanings that will help you to control your code and helps you to review them. And also, I would suggest you to put all of your main procedure in one big sub. In one big sub that has no arguments, that you can clear everything, right? So this is what everything happens. This is the main procedure. You have all the functions right here. You have all procedures right here. So everything's really clear. You can know what to do. And in rule set, you have modules that will save all of your different functions that has specific meanings. So I can say color and functions, which should be right here. So it has the color, it has a different diamond card, hearts card, shades card, or whatever it is. It has like clear faces, so this little stuff, and clear, right? So sorting. Oh, so also I might need to take a look into the sorting since it's part of the algorithms. So what we use here is the bubble sort, which I will describe it later. Okay, so let's say this is car sort, so everything is pretty straightforward. Rule set, so everything rules right here. I use dictionary to do that. And yeah, so basically you have different value for different pairs, which you are pretty familiar with. Since I wanted to have different, you can have multiple cars, so I make it really different than what we do in this semesters. I wrote a lot of algorithms to do that, but you don't have to do it. So just to make you have a great like a look what it is, right? So it has everything. This is two pairs. This is also two pairs. It has this, right? This is also two pairs. This is high card, but this wing, since it has double aces, double K, so it wins. But yeah, I sorted as the A is the front. Okay, so okay, I will show you as the last part of this tutorial. I'll show you the algorithms of bubble sort, and The reason why I want to show you this is I wanted to know you can really recreate your assignments, your homework in a creative way. Try to create your own functions and try to simplify your work, make everything really organized. Yeah. So as say I have a things sort. It's kind of like an operation. So I would like personally to make it a sum, but you will see it also can be a function. So I will write a sub first. Sort, I will sort an array. So okay. So for now, it don't have return value since it's a sub. I want it to be so it's a bubble sort, right? So I wanted to input an array. That is so we wanted to input an array. Oh, sorry, it's integer. So I wanted also maybe double. Okay, and right here I want to use another sub to randomly another function to give me randomized randomized array that is in random sequence. Okay, so random array and r as double. Well, I will suggest you as private for now. Oh, sorry. Okay. So in here, since why we are putting right here, so we want to pass something into this. We don't want to pass it, but we want to return a randomized array. So I can definitely put something here, but it's, okay, I will just put size. It's integer. So I want to know how big it is. So first thing is I want to name an array as double and redeem is to from 1 to size. So by doing this, I have this thing to be the array that I want. Yes, randomized thing. So I will say I will just use a for loop to do that. So dim I as integer, or you can simply do this, but no. Okay. So for I equals to 1 to size, you can say step 1, but you don't have to because it's automatically step 1. Okay. So I want to randomize it. So this array I want it to be random number 1, and since it's just 0 to 1, I want it to be from 0 to say 245. Okay, and at the end of the functions, return want the random array to be array. Okay, so let's say right here. Okay, so we want to think r, okay, and r is equals to random r, and let's say, oh sorry, it has a size, okay, size 5. So I want 5 random number. You see it's right here, I have different numbers right here. So it's a double. Let's try it. If I put it as double, does it work? It has to be this. Ooh, okay. That's interesting. Okay. Why all the numbers are all the same? This is pretty weird. Wait. Okay, other tasks is not the same. Okay, so yeah, so oh, okay, so I have already created a random thing here. Also, I can put it as this to make it more clear. Yep, do this, make it more clear. Yep, okay, and now I want to sort it. So the key of the bubble sort is using two layers of for loop or do loop, whatever it wants, to go through the entire array and find the biggest number or smallest number and then put it back. So let's try it. So for this array here, I don't know how big it is, and since it's a array, you don't have another procedure say how big it is. So I can use the upper and lower limits of uppercase or lowercase. So I will first think I as integer, j as integer, and for I equals to 1 to yeah, so for I to up bound, u bound, sorry, it's not like this. So u b o u and d. Okay, next I, and in the inner loop, I want it to be j from I goes from 1 to u bond r minus 1. Next j. Okay. I will make it more clear. Now, I want to find. So we want to have a temporary as double. Okay, so temp equals to rj, and we want it to be if. Okay, so we want it to be. So I examine the first one. Let's say we have something like this. Like this. So we go through the first one is 7, and we have it here, and we wanted to say if it's bigger than this. So if j is bigger than so bigger or equal than j plus 1, we want to swap it, right? We want to swap it. So we want it to be from lower to the higher places. So it might not be like this. Let's say okay, it's okay. So then we want to swap. So we want r j equals to r j plus 1, and rj plus 1 equals to temporary elements. So I want to swap it. And now since this one is not big than that, we won't swap. This is not big, this is bigger, so they will swap it. So there will be 3, there will be 5, and then this is not big than that. Okay, so we'll do like this, and again this is not big, this is bigger. Oh wait, it will be like this. Okay. So this is bigger, this will be 5, this will be 8, this is bigger, this will be 8, this will be 3, and this is now bigger. Okay, and this is bigger, so this will be 7, this will be 5, and this will be 7, this will be 3, and the last time this will be 7, this will be 5. So when we do this, we'll understand why we have u bound -1. That is, you don't have to go 5 times. So in the first time, you will find the biggest number. In the second time, you'll find the second biggest. And when you find if the size is n, so if it has n to the u bound, so like the size of the array, in the n-1 times, you will find other stuff that from n to the -1. So the maximum times of this procedure needs to be is this. Oh wait, sorry, it's this. So, like that. Okay, so you don't have to do that many times. You only have 5, you don't have to do 4 times, but you have to go through everything. And also you don't have to go to the very last cases, since it will be outflow, right? So if you go right here, you want to find j plus 1, it will gives you an arrow, so you have to go -1. Okay, so let's try it. As sort, and since this is already pressed by ref, so when I use the sort, the array is already sorted. So let's do also let's say we have another sub that is print, say print error. Okay, I just want it to be a message box. Oh no, this is since the R has the different sizes. I want to use loop to do that. For I, dim I as integer, want debug I to u bound R. Oh, sorry. Right. So first, after you randomize, I wanted to print. Okay, let's say. Tab mismatch. Every word user defined tab expected. So this is wait, this is and here let's say this is double 1 to 5. Okay. I just want it to be as double. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, now it works. Fine. Okay, I'll say. RTL. No. Okay. Oh, cancel. Okay. So it automatically is like this. Stuff. Okay, everything is really clear. Or I can print it here. Oh, yeah, that might be better. Okay, let's say I don't want to debug, I want to print right here. So start in B. So let's say dim start range to range B3, and we want range dot. Oh no, it wants to get with the range. Okay, never mind. I will just use the debug print right here. You can try to output that. Okay, so after sort, let's print again. And we want to say sorted. Yeah, let's try it. This is so weird. Like, this is pretty fun, and sometimes it has to be like this. Oh, I see. So the reason why this is wrong is because I didn't use call. If I only do something like this, like that way. If you do something like this, you have time mismatch. This is because it will say this is, I don't know what hell is that. But if I do this, it's fine because it is what it is. It is passing the arrow to it. But if I do this, then it's fine. Okay. So by using call, I think it's more clear. So you know you're calling that. So this is the same thing. You can do this. Right? So let's say first is something like this. After sorted, it's like this. And by changing that to this, I can have it from the biggest to the smallest. Okay, now let's try to visualize the procedure right here, which is pretty straightforward here. I can do this. So the start as range. So start goes to range as say B3. Okay, B3. So when I have the number here, I wanted to put it output. So no matter how in right up here, I want it to be start dot offset. So offset is from B3. Yes, row offset and column offset from 0 to 0. So once from ij, so the row offset, the column offset should be I and -1 since it's 0. And the row offset should be j -1. So it should be, let's try first. Okay, I want it to be value to be temporary j. Okay. Okay, this is the first one, second, third. Okay. So you see this only have 4 different types here. I will put this one. It's really complicated, but yeah, because we only go through 4 values. The last value is all of it. So in right here, we can actually, if we want to put the last thing also in there, we can put it like this. So in the last is to u bound -1 to j and j. Let's try it. Yeah, still. Okay. So now you see the original I don't know what that is original, but in here after the first stuff it finds the smallest and find the second smallest, the third smallest, and in this cases is we are really lucky. So in the second term it's already done. So in order to optimize the algorithms, you can actually make it style faster. So by doing that, we can use a flag. So it's what I call swap. It's boolean. So if it's swap, I want the swap to be true. And if the swap doesn't happen, that means we already sorted. Because so in here after this loop, if swap, if not swap, so swap is okay. And want it to be true, and it goes right here another again. So want it to be true. Next j, true. So after all of this, it has a swap right here. If this is not true, so if not, swap. Then exit sub. Okay. So if swap is not true, I will exit it, and in here I will reset swap as false. And at the beginning, I want it to be false. Right? So let's try again. So this time I run it 4 times, and after this time, I have everything sorted. So it's done. Oh wait, I should stop here. But no, let's say what went wrong. So it start as false. False. If it's swap, it's true. So if not swap, that means swap is wait, the swap is true. I want when swap is true, I will procedure. If not true, I will exit. So that means everything is done. And then we reset it to false. Okay, this is confusing. Swap false. You know what? Just one simple way to do it. I will say this. Okay. So here it goes false. Yeah, it went false. Yeah, but 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4. but it shouldn't. It should stop. It should stop here. It's really. Is this really? So. Anyways. Okay. It stops at here. Oh, I see. I see. So, it should stop here. So, because x is right, it's right here. So if I put it this way, wait. So, I have everything printed out, listed, and then after it's done, after it's printed right here, I will say, okay, should I stop? So that will make it like this. But in this cases, when it goes right here, it's already stopped. So the logic is fine, is correct. Okay, so yeah, basically this is what we got here. And we can say if it's stopped, yeah. Okay, so this is today's lecture. We're talking about the two differences of sub functions, bubble sort, and everything. Okay, so I hope you enjoy this lecture, and mm, hope you will have a little rest in the weekend, and I hope to see you this today's Q&A session, and both on Monday and Tuesday. Okay, thank you. Let me know if there's any questions.